Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Octavia Prosper. In the headlines, 18 families from the Salibert constituency to become homeowners this week. Global partners renew their support for Dominica's geothermal project. And the Ministry of Agriculture collaborates with DFC to ensure fresh produce for Creole Festival patrons. The details of the headline stories and more when we return.
Bache and buckle. Safer roads in the Nature Isle. This message was brought to you by the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Welcome back. 18 families from the Salibert constituency will soon be recipients of new homes. The government of Dominica and the European Union will officially hand over these homes on Thursday, October 12, at the Salibert Primary School in St. C at 11:30 a.m. These houses were constructed as part of 50 housing units under the 11th EDF B Envelope State and Resilience Building Contract for rehabilitation following Hurricane Maria. The housing project aims to reduce risk vulnerability and increase climate resilience in the Kalinago territory. 18 families from the Salibert constituency walked into 2023 as homeowners following a handing over ceremony in January. These houses will also handed over under this project indicates that government, through funding from the European Union, is well on target to constructing 50 housing units in the Kalinago territory. The construction of homes for citizens is part of a deliberate government policy to enhance quality of life and reduce the disruption of lives and property caused by severe weather. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has highlighted the contribution of the international partners in Dominica's transition to 100% renewable energy before 2030. Dominica's geothermal global partners are renewing their commitment this week to the country's geothermal development project. Representatives of various partner organizations, to include the United Nations and World Bank, as well as representatives of the United States and International Renewable Energy Agency, are wrapping up a two-day conference here on island. It's under the theme, Enabling Dominicans Transition 100% to Renewable Energy before 2030.
These latest developments and our incremental successes over the past decade are due in large measure to the generosity of our international partners. Steadfast partners like you are an indispensable part of our process and success. Over US $55 million, or EC $150 million, have been invested thus far in this project. Most of it is scalable infrastructure. 45% of this cost has been shouldered by the government of Dominica. But significantly, 55% of this funding has come in the form of infrastructure grants and technical assistance from our partners.
Prime Minister Skerrit says infrastructure grants have been the key to Dominica's progress.
We have observed that it is easier to secure technical assistance than these infrastructure grants. But without them, we probably would not be where we are today. So I extend particular thanks to the European Union and the government of the French Republic for the early grants which helped us to drill our first 3 wells.
The government of the United Kingdom is also a valued partner in this effort.
Having contributed US $10 million, or EC $27 million, which funded the drilling activities we completed earlier this year. In fact, I've been told that the team wants to paint the flag of the United Kingdom on the wells to show our gratitude to the government of the United Kingdom. And I suspect we may have many flags around the geothermal plant, because there has been really a coalition of the willing who's been helping us to realize our dream of 100% renewable energy in Dominica. So we say thank you, all of you, very much.
Prime Minister Skerrit says even small developing states such as Dominica are able to have global impact in terms of renewable resources.
We also want to recognize the SIDSDOC organization and Clean Technology Fund for their monetary contributions allocated to additional infrastructure development. So today's donors conference is about extending our cooperation to take us over the finish line and to demonstrate to the region and small island developing states around the globe that regardless of our size and limited capacity, we can take the lead in renewable energy development. Despite our vulnerabilities, we can make major moves to transform our world, secure our economic futures, and reverse the worrying trends associated with climate change and energy security.
Prime Minister Skerrit encouraged partners to continue their support for the geothermal project.
In our particular case, we are confident that exploration of this readily available, reliable, clean, and safe energy option will further position Dominica to confront the effects of disaster and other economic shocks which plague our development. We look to those of you who have already contributed to continue their support for this venture. And we invite new partners to be part of this success story, because we are fully confident it will be a success story. Certainly, you'll agree that we have come too far. The only way forward is to ensure that Dominica has the means and backing to forge ahead to the full commissioning of a geothermal energy plant in the Rosa Valley.
Minister for Trade and Energy, Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, says Dominica has persisted with its pursuit of geothermal power in spite of financial costs and the other potential setbacks along the way. Addressing the start of the two-day Geothermal Global Partners Conference on Tuesday, Dr. Henderson explained why Dominica has stayed the course.
We are pursuing geothermal energy not because it is easy, not because I just love geothermal. I mean, I love to see the steam, I have to admit. After the production wells were uncapped and we saw the steam, it was beautiful. I used to go there maybe a few times a week, I have to admit. So yes, it's true, I really love the technology. But we are pursuing geothermal energy because we believe it has the potential to transform Dominica. And I'm not saying this lightly, because we have seen one of our sacred, I should say, source of energy, hydro, which we've been pursuing since 1950. What has happened because of the impact of global warming? We've seen our freshwater lake at unprecedented low levels, about 4.5 meters, when we're used to having twice that level to 8 to almost 9 meters. So we have seen what the worst drought on record has done to us, and therefore recognize the limitations of hydropower.
Dr. Henderson says the limitations of solar power are also evident.
When we needed the most, that is when we have the most cloud cover. That is to say, before or after a hurricane. And even recently with a little storm, or not even a storm, a tropical depression that affected us, we saw what happened 3 days on end of cloudy days. We know that there are great possibilities for other renewable energy technologies. But one of the things that I have learned, even in my own research, and as the leader of renewable energy in small island developing states, when we created SIDSDOC and subsequently SECRE in Barbados, I have found out and I have concluded in my own research that the best way for small island developing states to pursue renewable energy is to look at the most appropriate technology for your circumstances. And in the case of Dominica, we are fortunate, we are blessed that we have geothermal potential that can meet our demand, surpass our demand, and help us to create new industries and to export power.
Dr. Henderson noted that it was much easier now to transport power.
Technologies have moved so far that we do not necessarily need cables to export power. We can export power in ammonia as green hydrogen, and we can ensure that we can create new industries, new economies for Dominica. And this is why we are pursuing geothermal energy. So yes, I know every time the lights have gone out, we have felt the knee-jerk reaction that had we put on an entire field of solar panels, we would have had power. Yes, on a sunny day. What happens when there's no sun? Batteries, you say? How much batteries? What is the cost of batteries? Solar panels are cheap, but batteries aren't that cheap. So we are fortunate, and we have to pursue this. And we have to resist the urge to come up with solutions that would disadvantage the next generation.
He says the idea is to choose the renewable energy option, which takes into account future generations.
A good geothermal power plant can give us 50 to 60 years if it's properly maintained, the resource is managed properly, plant designed well, and we'll hear from the experts. You don't have to take my word for it. But we have to make the investment no matter how difficult it is. So in conclusion, I want to again take the opportunity to recognize the leadership of our Prime Minister. And I will tell you as well, in my own research, I concluded by saying that one of the good things, or one of the main contributors that could help small states to transition to renewable energy is predictability in leadership. People say political will. I don't like that. It's more than political will. Any politician will tell you it's more than political will. It is having the right leadership, and in our case, it has been undisturbed for the last 23 years. So we've been very fortunate. And if you don't believe me, go to St. Vincent. And if you don't believe me, check St. Lucia, and you will see the differences. We have been able to pursue this for a while, and we are committed to seeing it to the very, very end.
Dominica's global partners have played a pivotal role in its journey to achieve 100% renewable energy before 2030. A two-day Geothermal Global Partners Conference came to a close at the State House Conference Center earlier today.
I want to commend the government of Dominica and Prime Minister for his vision and leadership in this endeavor. So we're very happy to be associated in co-organizing this event today. As UN, I want to thank the US Department of State, the government of Iceland, and IRENA, of course, for their partnership to make this event possible today. And in a way, my presence here is a testimony to the commitment of the UN development system to further mobilize international solidarity, cooperation, and support for Dominica's sustainable development. And with 7 years to go for SDG achievement, not so long ago, a few days ago, it was the SDG summit in New York, we know that there is no doubt that the green transition is an important enabler and investment pathway for cities to be able to achieve the SDGs. The nexus between energy security and economic and social development is very well documented, because energy security is not only a necessary means for economic growth and diversification, but an important vehicle for reducing inequalities, including gender inequalities.
The United States is committed to partnering with Dominica to strengthen the country's climate resilience and energy security. That's why the United States launched the U.S.-Caribbean Partnership to Address the Climate Crisis 2030, or PAC 2030. PAC 2030, led by U.S. Vice President Harris, is a partnership to assist Dominica and all our Caribbean partners in managing the existential challenge of our time, climate change. It also is the platform through which we provide technical assistance to help Dominica manage its energy transition, including ongoing cooperation through the U.S. Department of State's Power Sector Program of the Bureau of Energy Resources. We're providing support to help Dominica develop its geothermal resource potential so that it may rely 100% on renewable energy. Our power sector program will also deliver technical trainings to Dominica's geothermal development company, DOMLEC, and the regulator, the IRC, to support Dominica's geothermal project and a clean energy future.
As you know, the World Bank is a very, very strong partner of the government and also the people of the Commonwealth of Dominica. I would say we are almost family. So when we're very hard on ensuring that certain regulations and procedures are in place, it is to safeguard the people and the government of Dominica. And I'm not saying that to take away from the excellent progress that has been made so far by the government. We are committed to the vision of Dominica becoming the first climate resilient country in the world. And everywhere I go, I boast that Dominica was the first that used the phrase build back better. And you will see that all over within the bank, the US government, and all over the world, that phrase is used, build back better. So already Dominica has set a very high bar.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
Ride safe, wear a helmet, safer roads in the nature aisle. This message was brought to you by the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Welcome back. The countdown is on for the 23rd edition of the World Creole Music Festival. With the festival being less than 1 month away, preparations are coming along smoothly. The Dominica Festivals Committee continues to host conferences to keep the public informed on activities leading up to the festival. In efforts to supply all patrons with local cuisine for the festival, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy has partnered with the Dominica Festivals Commission.
Our mandate is to produce enough and adequate amounts of healthy food, and what we see sometimes being offered to the patrons is just the opposite of that. These are imports and these are basically filler foods. And we want to encourage the food vendors that there may not be the linkage that they require in terms of getting the produce, but we've made adequate amounts of preparation for this season.
The Ministry of Agriculture, under the Emergency Agricultural Livelihoods Project, has collaborated with the Dominica Export-Import Agency, DEXIA, where vendors can purchase fresh produce on a bulk level.
DEXIA is looking to purchase, and that's out to the farmers, so that the food vendors can obviously get into touch with them. So DEXIA is buying, as we speak, sweet potatoes, Tanya dashing yams, pumpkin, cucumbers, starfish, passion fruits, bananas and plantains, dried coconuts, seasoning pepper, ginger, pineapple, eggplants, and avocados. And we would like farmers to understand that DEXIA is now purchasing these and actually providing you with a payment within 48-hour span. So there is not a thinking of DEXIA purchases my fresh produce, when will I get paid? We have made adequate provision. You will have heard it in the news prior. So this is one thing that our farmers can be really mindful of and benefit from, that DEXIA, as soon as you offload to DEXIA, you have an agreed amount and you agree on the price, that you will receive a check in 48 hours. What better way to start off your season? For those persons involved in supermarket purchasing, in purchasing for their restaurants, for their catering services, do be mindful that you also can go to DEXIA and purchase those.
Mrs. Grell Shillingford encourages vendors to think outside the box when preparing the meals this Independence season.
There are a number of fringe events, and I just want you to be mindful of that. We don't really want to show off patrons the chicken and fry situation. We really want to get out of that. Some people are vegan, some people have dietary requirements. We have cassava mash, we have cassava base, we have a number of ladies involved in titiwi, in smoked fish production. We have a number of farmers right now. One poultry farmer is doing cuts of meat, he's doing shredded meat, he's doing minced meat, and this can be purchased via wholesale, etc. from his establishment.
Government has invested over $7 million to stage this year's World Creole Music Festival as an investment in the power of culture and music. On October 11, 2023, the government of Dominica, through the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience, and Social Security, has signed a grant agreement with the CARICOM Development Fund, CDF, to provide $558,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars for the development of the Champagne Beach facility. Minister of Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience, and Social Security, Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, says Champagne Beach is symbolic to the innate potential of Dominica and described the signing agreement as a significant moment for Dominica.
Today marks a significant milestone in the journey of Dominica's tourism and development. We have gathered here as a testament to our shared commitment to develop our beloved Dominica and its promise as a premier tourism destination in the Caribbean. I would like to say a special thanks to the CARICOM Development Fund for their support to Dominica's quest to become the world's first climate-resilient country. Today's signing is another stride in that direction. Champagne Beach, with its unique volcanic springs and rich marine life, is not just a natural wonder. It's a symbol of Dominica's untapped potential. While it has been a sought-after location for diving and snorkeling enthusiasts from around the world, some further enhancements are required for Champagne Beach to truly shine.
Dr. McIntyre further described the developments that will form part of the rehabilitation project of Champagne Beach.
The new Champagne Beach facility will include a basement reception area with vending units, changing rooms, lockers, spa services, and a lookout point. The lower level will be equipped with a restaurant and bar with washrooms, open space dining, recreation, and entertainment. This will not only enhance the visitor experience, but will generate employment opportunities for the construction phase to the operational phase. It will open doors for our local entrepreneurs. Spaces dedicated to art, crafts, and culinary delight will also allow our talented Dominicans to showcase their skills and contribute to our vibrant tourism ecosystem.
CDF was established by the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas to provide financial or technical assistance to disadvantaged countries, regions, and sectors in the Caribbean community. Chief Executive Officer of the CDF, Mr. Rodinald Suma, says they are pleased to support this project and spoke of the reasons for investing in the tourism sector of OECS countries.
The CDF has been asked by the member states to provide developmental support in a number of sectoral and thematic areas. While tourism is not necessarily mentioned as a sector of interest, we have been doing a lot of work in tourism, particularly in the OECS countries, because as we seek to address this circumstances of disadvantage, it actually makes sense from a developmental perspective to flip the narrative and not just to consider disadvantages, but to support the countries in the sectors in which they have comparative advantage. So this is the first fundamental reason why we focus so much on tourism as a sector of intervention for support to the OECS, including Dominica.
Mr. Rodinald Suma says a number of the requirements for project funding were met by Dominica's proposal in addition to the potential of its natural attractions.
One of the thematic areas that we consider in accordance with our agreement is infrastructure development and another is business development and enterprise competitiveness. So this project allows us to pursue our objectives and respond to the mandate given to us by the community in these areas, while providing support to Dominica in upgrading its tourism product. Another important dimension of this, we believe, is that when you have attractions that have world-class potential, what you do when you upgrade these attractions, you improve the competitiveness of the industry in question, in this case tourism, and of particular relevance to the CSME, you improve the attractiveness for interregional travel as well, which is clearly in support of greater regional integration.
The 40th edition of the Sports Division Annual Independent Secondary School Meet is set to begin on Thursday. Students will take part in track and field disciplines including long jump, high jump, discus throw, javelin, and the 100, 200, 400, and 800 meter races, among others. The two-day event will take place at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium on Thursday, October 12, and Friday, October 13.
The Secondary Schools Independence Athletics Meet will be held on Thursday the 12th and Friday the 13th of October. It is an annual event that we have as part of the Independence celebration. Now this year is significant for us since it is the 40th edition that we are having. And we are happy that we were able to have the Windsor Park Stadium to host this event, since in the past we have been challenged given the time of year, and we would have to normally move to the Benjamin's Park in Portsmouth. Now the Windsor Park Stadium will provide that much controlled area for us, and we are happy to be at the Windsor Park Stadium to celebrate the 40th edition of the Independence Track and Field Meet.
To celebrate the 40th edition of the Independence Athletics Championship, all participating schools will take part in a parade from the Bayfront to the stadium.
Preceding the opening ceremony, to really mark the 40th edition, we have decided to add a different flavor to the event. And we'll be having the schools parade onto the Windsor Park Stadium. So the intention is to have the schools gather at the Bayfront in Roseau, and they would parade the streets of Roseau up through Kennedy Avenue into the stadium. And that will happen prior to the official opening ceremony. Then we'll have an inspection of the teams, and the opening ceremony will commence following this.
15 secondary schools are expected to participate in this year's meet in various divisions for the male and female categories.
We're expecting to have 15 secondary schools participate at the upcoming meet. We will be having competition for both the boys and the girls, and we are looking at competition at the under 14 level, on the 17 and the under 20 division. On day one of the meet, we'll be having the official opening ceremony, which we expect to commence at 9:30.
Mr. Shillingford says this athletics meet is important as it gives students a chance to display their talents to potential coaches.
The Independence Track and Field Meet is a very significant part of our track and field development, since it provides our student athletes with an early opportunity to impress the various track and field coaches. And the track and field coaches, given the time of year, would be able to bring the students into their normal training cycle for the track and field season. So it is one that we really see as the breeding ground for our track and field athletes.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I'm Octavia Prosper. Thank you for watching.